You ever walk past a bush and your brain just goes, let's keep an eye on that. No reason, no sound, no movement, just your nervous system filing a tiny, invisible police report. You try to ignore it. Relax, it's landscaping, not a crime scene. But some ancient part of you is already like, yes, but what if the landscaping has teeth? That reaction? You didn't invent it, you inherited it. A hand-me-down survival instinct from a time when the best move wasn't to fight. It was to notice the world go quiet and go, nope. Your nervous system left a taped note on the fridge. Bushes, suspicious. Don't ask why. And here's the plot twist. That instinct didn't come from lions. It didn't come from wolves. It didn't come from anything your brain remembers on purpose. It came from something much older, something that didn't chase, didn't growl, didn't show off. It just waited, perfectly still, for millions of years. This is Postosuchus, the original don't blink, don't breathe, something's watching predator. If your curiosity likes digging up instincts your brain never bothered to explain, you're in the right place. Stick around. Your instincts already did. Humans weren't always the apex. For most of our evolutionary history, we were on the menu. Our primate ancestors spent tens of millions of years as mid-sized prey animals, trying very hard to avoid being lunch. They weren't top predators. They weren't dominant. They were smart, social, tree-climbing bundles of calories that had to navigate a world designed to kill them. Evolution's original snack-size edition. Survival wasn't about strength, it was about paying attention. Knowing which trees had escape routes, which water sources had too many blind approaches, where the undergrowth grew dense enough to hide something large. Understanding what it meant when the birds went quiet or the insects stopped. Recognizing when the wind carried a smell that didn't belong. Early primates learned to read environments like threat assessments written in vegetation and sound, because the alternative was becoming a statistic. We were basically anxious tree squirrels, with opposable thumbs and a really good memory for things that wanted to eat us. And that vigilance didn't fade when we invented tools or built civilizations. It's still there, still running, still scanning for threats that haven't existed in your lifetime but shaped every generation before you. Silence became a warning signal. Stillness meant danger. Dark undergrowth triggered caution. These weren't irrational responses. They were accurate threat models in a world where ambush predators were everywhere. And the predators? They knew we were paying attention, so they got better at not being noticed. Ambush predation isn't about brute force, it's about timing. A pursuit predator burns energy chasing prey across open ground. It's fast but expensive. Every failed chase costs calories. Every injury from a desperate prey animal is a liability. An ambush predator plays a different game. It doesn't chase. It positions itself where prey have to go and then it waits. The terrain does half the work. The predator just has to be patient enough to let probability play out. Riverbanks are perfect. Every animal needs water eventually. Thirst isn't optional. Game trails are even better. Prey are creatures of habit. They take the same routes, creating paths through repeated use. Predictability is a gift to anything that hunts. Edge habitat, the transition zone between open ground and dense cover, offers the best of both worlds. Prey feels safer there because escape routes are close. But that false sense of security is exactly what makes them vulnerable. The predator doesn't hunt everywhere. It hunts where you have to walk, and then it waits. For hours. Days if necessary. Nature really said, why chase your food when your food will eventually walk into your mouth? Because one successful kill provides enough calories to justify a week of stillness. Energy conservation isn't just efficient, it's the entire strategy. This approach shapes ecosystems more than speed or strength ever did. The fastest prey animal in the world still has to drink. Still has to sleep, still has to let its guard down eventually, and when it does, the thing that waited gets its window. 3 seconds, maybe 5. Around 228 million years ago during the late Triassic, something remarkable was stalking the floodplains and river margins of what would eventually become North America. Postosuchus kirkpatricki. Imagine a crocodile that decided vertical posture was worth trying, as if it saw early dinosaurs and went, what if elegant? Reaching about 4 to 8 meters in length and weighing anywhere from roughly 250 up to over 1,000 kilograms, Postosuchus was built low and powerful, but raised high on pillar-like legs that held its body well off the ground. It had ridges of bony plates along its back. Osteoderms, not full armor, just enough to discourage anything from biting back. A long, narrow skull filled with serrated, recurved teeth, designed for slicing rather than crushing. And a critical adaptation, good depth perception, not owl-level binocular vision, but enough to judge a leap with ugly precision. Postosuchus lived in dense fern thickets near water, shaded trails, riverbanks, anywhere the vegetation grew thick enough to break up its outline. Its behavioral style was unhurried, quiet, methodical. This predator didn't patrol vast territories looking for prey. It didn't chase herds across open ground. It selected a position somewhere prey had to pass and became part of the landscape. No movement, no sound, just perfect predatory stillness. When prey approached, Postosuchus didn't announce itself. There was no warning growl, no dramatic charge. Just a sudden, explosive burst of speed from absolute stillness. A single, ambushing strike from those blade-like teeth, and then stillness again. If you saw Postosuchus, it was because your lifespan was already scheduled. Fossil assemblages and trackways indicate that Postosuchus was very successful. Very successful. It dominated late Triassic ecosystems as one of the apex predators, living alongside early dinosaurs and absolutely terrifying them. The strategy worked flawlessly for millions of years. Being prey comes with a fundamental problem. You can't be vigilant all the time. You have to eat. You have to drink. You have to sleep. You have to reproduce. You have to navigate terrain. You have to manage social hierarchies. You have to tend to injuries. All of these activities require attention, and attention is a limited resource. A herbivore drinking at a river has its head down for several seconds. Its field of vision narrows, its hearing is obscured by the sound of water and its own heartbeat. That's the window, and Postosuchus only needed one lapse. One moment of distraction, one glance in the wrong direction, one step too close to the vegetation line. A successful ambush provided enough calories to sustain Postosuchus for days, maybe longer. The return on investment was extraordinary. Position yourself where prey must go, and wait long enough, and probability does the rest. Postosuchus and its Rausuchid relatives ruled late Triassic landscapes using this method for roughly 27 million years. They didn't outrun prey. They didn't overpower prey through sheer strength. They simply outlasted prey's ability to remain alert until the world changed. Around 201 million years ago, at the Triassic-Jurassic boundary, massive flood volcanism from the Central Atlantic magmatic province triggered rapid climate shifts. Carbon dioxide spiked. Temperatures swung wildly. Ocean chemistry destabilized. Food webs collapsed. The extinction event that followed wiped out roughly 70 or 80% of species on Earth. Postosuchus and the Rausuchids vanished completely. No survivors, no descendants. The entire lineage went extinct, but the method they perfected, that survived. Evolution doesn't waste good ideas. When a strategy works, it gets copied, refined, reused by whatever survives. Theropod dinosaurs adopted ambush predation. In the Jurassic and Cretaceous, some species became the new apex predators using the same blueprint Postosuchus had pioneered. The fossil record shows that after Rausuchians died out, large theropods quickly rose to fill that niche. Crocodilians, close relatives of the Rausuchids, survived the extinction and continued perfecting ambush tactics in aquatic environments, a strategy they still use today. Monitor lizards evolved similar sit and wait hunting behaviors. Large constrictor snakes became masters of the ambush strike, and eventually, millions of years later, when mammals diversified and filled terrestrial predator niches, big cats inherited the same playbook. From leopards and lions to saber-toothed cats, every predator our primate ancestors would come to fear was using a refined version of the strategy Postosuchus had perfected in the Triassic. Postosuchus the species died. The blueprint became immortal, and that's where we enter the story. Our primate ancestors, the ones that eventually became us, spent tens of millions of years being hunted by ambush predators, generation after generation. For longer than you can truly imagine, we were stalked in the grass and snatched from the trees. The individuals who ignored environmental warning signs didn't live long enough to pass on their genes. The ones who froze when the forest went quiet, who avoided dense undergrowth at dusk, who kept their backs to open space, they survived. They reproduced. They became us. This isn't metaphorical, it's selection pressure written directly into your nervous system. That cold shiver when ambient noise cuts out, that's an early warning system doing exactly what it was designed to do. The instinct to avoid thick vegetation after dark, that's inherited tactical knowledge. A lesson passed down from ancestors who learned the hard way that shadows hide things that want to eat you. The urge to keep your back toward open space instead of pressed against cover, that's threat geometry. Minimizing angles of approach when you can't watch everywhere at once. These responses feel automatic because they're ancient subroutines that boot up when environmental cues match historical threat patterns. Your body is running software compiled from millions of years of survival data, and that software still interprets certain conditions. Silence, stillness, dense cover, poor visibility, as something might be hunting. It doesn't matter that you've never encountered an ambush predator. Your ancestors did, constantly. And the ones who listen to these instincts are the reason you exist. Most of us live nowhere near apex predators now. Our biggest daily threats are traffic, unhealthy snacks, and existential dread about emails. And yet the instinct still activates. Walk past dense bushes on a quiet trail and feel your attention sharpen. Notice how your eyes flick to the shadows, how your hearing suddenly tunes in to the background hum. Feel how your posture shifts slightly, shoulders back, steps a touch lighter, heart just a bit quicker. You're not being paranoid. You're being exactly as vigilant as your ancestors needed to be to survive. The body still interprets prolonged silence as something is watching. It still flags dense vegetation as a potential threat. Postosuchus is gone. The Rawasuchids are extinct. Most of the specific predators that hunted early humans are gone too. Fossil evidence shows, for example, that leopards preyed on our hominin ancestors. But the pattern remains. Alive, active, woven into every lineage of patient hunter that inherited the strategy. The silence your body remembers isn't specific to one predator. It's the signature of a hunting method that's been refined for 200 million years. Your instincts aren't outdated. They're responding to a threat category that still exists, just not usually in your immediate vicinity. The fact that you live in a safe environment doesn't mean the warning system shuts off. It means the system is working perfectly, scanning for dangers that aren't currently present. Vigilance doesn't require current danger. It only requires the possibility of danger. And as long as ambush predators exist anywhere in the world, your nervous system will keep running the old protocols, just in case. We are the descendants of prey animals. We didn't conquer the world through raw dominance. We survived through vigilant social cooperation and the ability to recognize threats before they became lethal. We're not lions, we're gazelles, who got smart enough to build walls and sharp enough to invent tools. And those adaptations work. They work so well that most of us will live entire lives without ever encountering a predator that sees us as food. But the instinct doesn't fade. It can't. It's load-bearing. Remove it, and you lose something fundamental about how humans process environments. That moment when the world goes still and something whispers, "Pay attention," that's functional awareness inherited from 1,000 generations of survivors. Postosuchus taught the world how to wait, and we learned to never, ever stop watching. Your body remembers what the world used to be like. It always has. So if you ever side-eye a bush again, just know, your ancestors are very proud of you. If your instincts felt something while watching this, good. They were supposed to. Stay curious. Dead Curious continues soon.